Hi everyone, my name is Hassanin and this is my first YouTube video. As you can tell, I don't speak English that very well, so I hope you will excuse my language. Plus, I have Tourette syndrome that makes it also more difficult for me to talk and explain. But I did my best and cut off all the voice tics, yeah, so it is more understandable for you, and I hope you enjoy the video. So prepare your Arch Linux bootable USB and let's get started. Okay, so now we are in. So first thing to check is if we have internet connection. So let us ping google.com. Okay, so we are connected. Then Control C to cancel that. Just let me install a font to make things bigger and clearer for the recording. Terminus dash font. This step is not necessary, but I'm doing it for the recording purposes. You don't need to do it. Okay, so the font is installed. Let me set font V32N. I guess, yes. Okay, so now everything is big. So first thing to do is to partition the SSD. So let us check what do we have. Type the command lsblk. I have the SDA partition, which is the SSD. It's a 32 gigabyte of storage. This SSD, I just use it to play with it, but you have to install something larger. So for the partitioning, I'm going to use cg disk dev SDA, only SDA, yeah, and enter. So let me delete the previous partitions. Delete. Now create new one. So the first partition will be the EFI partition or the boot partition. So new first sector, okay, press enter. Size, I'll give it 300 megabytes, so 300 capital M. And the hex code for the EFI partition is EF00 and enter. I'm going to call it boot. Enter. Now we have the 300 megabytes of EFI system. So the second partition I'm going to do is for the swap. So the first sector is okay, press enter. Size, I'm going to give it 2 gigabytes. The hex code is, if I remember correctly, it's 8200. Call it swap for the partition name and enter. And yes, it's 2 gigabytes of Linux swap. So the last partition, I'll give it all to the root. So new first sector, okay. Size, you don't need to put any size. If you want to choose it to the end, just press enter. Hex code is the same, 8300, and we are going to call it root. So everything is in order. Now we need to write these changes, so choose write, type yes, and now we can quit. Okay, now to format these partitions, let us check the partitions we have. So SDA 1, 2, 3. So mkfs.vfat. This is for the swap partition. So dev SDA1. The next one mkfs ext4, and that will be for the SDA3, which is the root. The swap doesn't need to be formatted, so leave it alone. So we will format the SDA3, which is the root partition, into ext4 and enter. and it is formatted. Now let's mount these partitions. So first thing we need to mount is the root partition. So mount -dev -sda sda3. We're going to mount it into /mnt. Now we need to create a boot folder inside the root directory. So type in mkdir/mnt/boot. After that, now we can mount the boot partition into the boot directory. So type in mount -dev -sda1. Remember, it is sda1 for the EFI partition into mnt-boot /mnt/boot. So that is mounted. So let's check that again. lsblk. Okay, so everything is mounted. Okay, so now we need to make the swap. So mk /dev/sda. Yeah, so the swap partition is sda2. Enter that. So swap was made. Now we need to activate it. So type in swap on for dev sda2. Excellent, everything is in order. Now we can install the system. Backstrap yeah, we're going to install it into the root, and going to install the base and the base -devel and enter. I hope I know what I'm doing. Okay, so installation is completed. So the first thing we need to do after installation is to chroot into the system. So type arch -chroot mnt into the root directory, and now we are in the system. Next thing, we are going to need to install the bootloader. So in this tutorial we are going to install the use the systemd bootloader instead of installing grub, because it's already built in. So type in bootctl, then install and enter, and everything went fine. Now the next thing is a little bit long. We need to type the configuration files. So you can use nano, the text editor. So type in nano /boot/loader, then loader.conf, and enter. Just delete these lines, no need for them. Now type in default arch, enter, timeout, space 4, I'll keep it 3. I'm reading from the Arch wiki. Editor, no, and that's it. Then Control O to write, then enter, then Control X. Now this is done. So the load configuration is done. Next we need to add the loaders. So again, type in nano /boot/loader /entries, then type in arch.conf and enter. So title, give it whatever title you want. Call it Arch Linux. Then in the next line type in Linux /vm linux-linux, enter. The next line is init rd /initram fs-linux.img, Then the last one is options root. So now this one you need to, this last line you need to point it to the root partition. Dev dash sda 3 will be root. Type in rw. Now just to double check, Control O to write, Control X to exit. Okay, so one last step. I should have done it earlier before ch rooting to the system. So no problem, we can exit. Then, which is generating the fs tab. So let us type gen fs tab dash capital L dash P slash mnt. Then we're going to write it into slash mnt slash etc slash fs tab and enter. Now we can check it by typing cat slash mnt slash etc slash fs tab, and everything is in order. So now before continuing in configuring the Arch Linux and ending this video, I'm going in this ending this part of the video, I'm going to restart the machine without the USB just to check if everything is in order. Hopefully I did everything correct. So reboot, and yes, we are successful. So I hope that video was informative and someone learned something from this video and started to install Arch Linux or any other distributions. And this installation was only to get you started to boot into Arch Linux. Still, there are so many configurations to be done to the system, like adding users, pulse audio, video drivers, Xorg, desktop environments, and so on. So I hope I will continue this series of videos to finish up this Arch build. Please let me know if it was informative or if I missed anything or did anything wrong. And I hope to see you again.